2017 Mazda 3 P0193 fuel rail pressure sensor circuit. This over here on the left side of the engine is the sensor, and that's the fuel rail, and there's the sensor. Now this sensor, you buy it for this Mazda, is installed on the fuel rail. You cannot buy it separately. I went to a wrecker, found one that was the same code for the Bosch, and when I changed it, same code. Bought one on Amazon that was $23, which apparently was the correct one. That one didn't work. So then I started checking the circuit to the PCM plug-in. You just take these two bolts out and this pops off and you get the whole plug-in. Now they tell you to back probe, but to take this cover off without breaking it seemed like pretty sketchy. I made myself a stainless steel pin that is the same size as the pins that go into that plug, and I used that to test. So I tested all three wires, green, tan, and pink, on this particular vehicle, and all the wires are good. There's no shorts, they're not melted together, which is another diagnosis that comes up when you look for the repair of this. However, the first one, when I first took it off and changed to the second one, then I discovered that, these three wires or two wires could be shorting out. So that's when I began testing, and I used a regular electrical tester and pushed it into each prong and checked back to the PCM plug, and I discovered ruined the inside of the plug. So I had an extra sensor. You can see the pins inside there. I cut all this plastic off so I could get these pins. To check this, there is so much play and slack in there that they're probably not connecting properly. If I take a new one, I went to the Wreckers and got a new plug, a new used plug, and when I plug that in, it's solid. The thing is, you don't know, because when you plug in a sensor, this gasket that's in here makes it feel like it's really tight, but it actually isn't. The connection to the grommet or gasket is tight, but not the pins. I am gonna cut the old one off and put this new plug in, and we'll start her up and see if we can clear the code, and hopefully that's the problem. Otherwise, from everything else I've done and checked, it would be the actual computer. One of the manuals said to short the signal and power, and on my scanner, if it went down to 0, it means that actually the wiring is good and the computer is good. So this is the last step, because this seems to be very sloppy and obviously not contacting very well. So we'll change this out and we'll give it a shot. The new plug that I got, the new used plug that I got, is orange, green, pink, when the original was tan, green, pink. So just take care that you're oriented the proper way for which wire goes where. Obviously green and pink were easy enough, but you might run across some totally different colors. So I got orange going into the tan, green, and pink, and pink. I used some pretty slick connectors here, and they're heat shrink with solder in there that solders them together. I'm still gonna tape them separately just to isolate everything. Okay, I just plugged it in, put the key on. My battery was dead, so I'm charging it right now. I scanned it. There is no codes. So it looks like that plug was the problem. This effing thing right here. No contact. So do not use an electrical test probe, like a typical one, to poke in there unless you have the proper pin size. A lot of people say to back probe it. That's also possible. There we go. Looks like it's a winner, but I'll make sure by starting it and seeing if it actually runs properly. I'll be back. I'm just taping up the harness. I ran out of black tape, but this is also electrical tape. So a little trick that I learned: when you're trying to tape something and you can't fit the roll of tape around there, just put a bunch of tape on a socket, and it makes it way easier to wrap. A little tip for you guys. Okay, We got the harness all taped up. This is plugged in. One thing I gotta mention is that Mazda does not sell this separate. It's on the fuel rail as one piece. That's because of the 2000 psi pressure. So I'm just doing this to see if the car will run properly. I'm probably going to change the whole rail because potential leaks right on the alternator, gas and alternators and electrical and heat could create a pretty massive fire. Okay, moment of truth. Revving a little high, but check engine light's gone. Got a service wrench there. Yeah, once she warms up, oh, it's already dropping a bit. Look at that. Boom. We did it, people. We did it. All right, I just ran it for a little bit here. Runs good, and no fuel's leaking out of there. I will still change that fuel rail with the Mazda OEM just to be on the safe side. That was the problem. That plug-in had stretched out connections.